Live. I'm here with my man Sean. Sean, say what's good.
What's going on, guys?
Coming to you from sunny South Florida. Hope everyone's doing great, man. Happy what's today? Monday. Yeah, happy Monday, October 24th. Just looking forward to another beautiful day. Having a good conversation with my boy over here. Always great convos. So I already told you about this, Sean. I already recorded this video technically, and the whole 37-minute video wipe. Unfortunately, no audio, but it is what it is. So we came up with the bright idea of doing it live. You said you could join me, and so thank you for being here, bro. And yeah, we're gonna go over
Absolutely.
Pulse Bitcoin. I think it's actually really good because you're gonna be able to see how I break down these white papers.
Yes.
So that's gonna be fire. We're gonna be doing it live. I already read it beforehand, and I already have the notes and everything. So all that stuff is organized. So if you guys are watching this, and maybe you're watching a playback or something, I would tell you, note takers are money makers, man. Take some notes, understand these products. Not just so much like what we're about to go over. Like I'm not gonna give you like a biased understanding of Pulse Bitcoin. I'm not gonna give you my opinion on it until the very, very end. I'm just gonna be very subjective, and just look at it for what it is, and then just kind of see what works, what doesn't work, what I'm excited about, what I feel where I feel like there's a little bit of opportunity, um, and just really get our hands on on this project and really understand how it is. So Sean, before we get started, you got anything to say, bro? Anything you want to share?
I mean, yeah, I've definitely missed out on all this alpha you had shared before. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. The only thing I do know is that if apparently that it's written on the same code as some of these other bigger coins, Bitcoin and some of the and Doge,
Yeah. Yeah,
apparently.
it's like a similar, yeah. So it's a similar so how do I say it? Like it's a very similar like smart contract to, I don't want to say like hex, but like the fact that it's like there's no audit. I mean, excuse me, not no audit. There's no
So good.
there's no admin keys,
Okay.
yeah, like there's no tax on it. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and we're gonna go over all of that. I covered that
Okay.
extensively.
Uh,
But yeah, let me just make sure I'm here sharing this, man. If you guys are watching this, bro, promote, share with friends. If you're actually here right now and you want to actually, pump the views of the stream, go ahead and put like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications if you guys want to see every single time that I'm live. I would greatly appreciate it. Before we get into everything, I just want to let you guys know if you guys want to be a part of the community, make sure you jump on over to cashflowamigos.com. That's where you guys will be able to learn a little bit more about Cashflow Amigos, our community, what we do. Pretty much it's a mentorship group and a this is a great place to learn crypto. We'll leave it at that, right? Just for the sake of
Pretty much, yes.
yeah.
You simplify everything for everybody. That's what you do.
I appreciate you, homie, and we're definitely gonna keep looking to impact more people out there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via Telegram. You guys can go to the website, see all that info. And then if you do want somewhere to be able to get news and stuff like that, go to t.me/CFA Alpha. That's where I drop all of the weekly news that I feel like you guys would probably appreciate. And so yeah, now that we got those basics covered, make sure to ask your questions. Honestly, guys, I'm here to break this down for you live so you guys can understand how this project works in depth, and to be able to answer your questions live with you. And Sean, I'm happy you're here because I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions, a lot of great questions that
Yes.
the
Look,
community is
like,
probably
look,
gonna have.
I mean, I have some memo pad. I may write down some questions to ask you just in case.
Cool, cool,
If
cool,
not
bro.
now, maybe later.
Perfect. All right, great. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it, man. So let me open up here everything. I need to make sure I got all this stuff ready. Let me open up the Pulse Bitcoin notes. I'm going to share the screen too. It's going to be a little bit easier. And what else do we need? We need pulsebitcoin.com. This token's actually really interesting. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, I mean, I just haven't had time, honestly.
You're good, and that's why we're here.
That's why I stay in tune with this group. That's why, hey,
Yeah.
I will pay that $100. That's helping me stay, in tune with everything. Because I can take a couple steps away, momentarily to work on
Yeah, I'm
something
not
else
gonna lie, man.
briefly.
The whole saving time aspect of this stuff really does help. I mean, I do a lot of stuff every day, but the thing is that it's easier for me to really get it and just dissect it, and just be able to reiterate it to you guys. And also, I love this stuff. Like me helping you guys understand this, it makes me all the much better. So as I'm teaching you, I'm becoming better every single day. So it's always an opportunity as I see it. And all right, so we have this. We got to open up the deck screener. Make sure we get some charts before we do anything. Yo, have you seen Hex? Almost at 4 cents.
No, I mean, I see. I've been watching. Do every once in a while. I just haven't been responding. I'll see all the messages that that you guys are, posting in the Telegram group. I just haven't been responding because like I might be studying or something else, you know. So I'm actually excited.
All right,
I
let me
saw
show
your
you this.
post about being close to the launch potentially.
Let me show you this right quick. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, that's why it's looking that way because let me just move this over here. All right, great. So yeah, what do we see? Perfect. All right, let's make this full screen. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right, great. So, yeah, let's jump on over to Nomics real quick and just check out the Bitcoin. I mean, the hex price real fast before we do anything. Bro, almost 4 cents. We're up 16, almost 17% for the day. So there's been a
Damn,
really,
that's what
really
I'm.
nice pump of price over the past 24 hours, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to do over the next 24. Because to be honest, I mean, like I was saying, we were bouncing pretty nicely on that 3 cent floor for a while, almost 3 months
Yes.
that we were at 3 cents. A lot of opportunity for a lot of people to get involved, and you know, if you miss the train, I don't want to say you missed it
Yeah,
forever.
we
We might
had
retest
like a
it.
day of 2 cents. We had like a day of 2 cents. Like, remember
Yeah,
that?
facts. We might retest it. I mean, who's to say we don't? But you know, it is what it is. This is what the prices, what the charts are doing. That's looking really good
Numbers
on.
don't lie.
Yeah, for sure. We got Desi as well. I mean, if you haven't looked into that opportunity, I'm not gonna give you the alpha, but just look at the Decimus price, look at the hex price. That's all I'm gonna say. Right? That's all I'm gonna say. Look at Desi price, look at hex price. That's all I have to say. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, join CFO.
That's
All
why I'm
right.
excited,
All
man.
right, cool. Now let's just jump into this thing. All right. So first and foremost, for those of you who don't know about Pulse Bitcoin, Pulse Bitcoin is a token that launched in connection to Pulse Dogecoin. The at name at hex.info, pretty much the creator of Pulse Dogecoin, has been like, you know, pretty much pumping this thing for the past few months. Finally released it a few days ago, and the whole website is here. Honestly, the website is really well built. I'm not even gonna cap. It's really good. It looks nice. The execution is really what matters, though, right? So how this thing is gonna play out. So here it says the future of Bitcoin is here. Pulse Bitcoin, the faster, more secure, non-polluting, energy efficient, highly scalable, DeFi compatible Bitcoin. It's a mouthful. But it seems like this thing is here to stay, man. A lot of people are looking forward to it. You know, you mentioned you got some Pulse Dogecoin, right?
I mean, I did get the airdrop. I sold it before earlier,
Okay.
like a lot of people did, you know. And but then now this is coming out, which is why, you know, it's something else that I need to make a play on, you know.
Cool. Yeah, like I know a lot of people got Pulse Dogecoin. It's good to know that you got it. I sold it myself too. I don't hold any. Um Realistically, I mean, I'm okay with not having any. I mean, I could have gotten some of this to not technically for free because I already technically cashed out, but there is potential here. I just want to speak on it before I go ahead and give my opinion. But real quick, right? Pulse Bitcoin. There's a few ways that you can get it. What I did was I pretty much highlighted everything that the white paper has, and we're just going to review it in the way the white paper says. So if you guys want to review the white paper with me, go to pulsedogecoin.com/white paper. And this is pretty much what I broke down. But I did it in simple terms, so we don't have to kind of go through everything. So first and foremost, right, Pulse Bitcoin notes. 12 and 3 second block times running on the ETH network and Pulse Chain network versus 10-minute block times on the Bitcoin network, right? This is one of the key points. I started off with some key points here. You know, if you're familiar with Pulse Bitcoin or with Bitcoin in general, it runs on its own blockchain. So what we mean by this, or what, you know, this is trying to say, is essentially that the 10-minute blocks that you have on a Bitcoin blockchain, takes really long to send Bitcoin. I don't know if maybe you ever sent it, is really reduced to 12 seconds on ETH and 3 seconds on Pulse Chain, right? When it launches on Pulse Chain, because of the block times, right? Considering that Pulse Bitcoin is going to be launching on Ethereum, or is launched on Ethereum, it uses the same network to send these transactions. So it's going to be faster. That's the first point. Second point, same 21 million token supply. So not much different from Bitcoin. There's going to be 21 million Pulse Bitcoin, and once 21 million Pulse Bitcoin are mined, that's it. It's done, right? It's cap supply. It's a free airdrop once Pulse Chain launches. So whatever you get now, you're going to get later. And then Pulse Bitcoin is designed to have in mining rewards, you know, parentheses, inflation. That's what mining rewards are. It's the inflation. every 6 to 12 months. Now, I put a little asterisk, or there is a little asterisk there, because the halving events are correlated with Bitcoin's price fluctuations. So the halving frequency is determined by the number of ASIC tokens, which we'll talk about in a bit, used to mine Pulse Bitcoin. Mining is non-deterministic, meaning that the halvings can occur sooner or take longer than estimated based on the participation of miners. Now, I didn't come up with the word non-deterministic. That was all on the white paper. But pretty much what it means is that it's a hit or miss. It could either be 6 months, it could be 12 months, it could be a little bit more. It's really all based on how many people are actually mining Pulse Bitcoin. So as you know, you have to mine Bitcoin, you have to mine Pulse Bitcoin as well. That's the only way these tokens come into circulation as a reward for having a miner. Over here it says mining supply comparison, right? And this is where we're going to do a little bit of comparing and contrasting between Bitcoin and Pulse Bitcoin. Over here you see Bitcoin and the halving phases, right? So since 2009, right, there was a 50 Bitcoin mining reward. So Bitcoin mined during the halving cycle is 10.5 million Bitcoin, and then running total of mined Bitcoin up until that point, 10.5 million, right? Essentially 50% of all the Bitcoin was mined within that first halving cycle, right? From launch to the first halving cycle, better said, right? At halving number one, which happened in November 2012, as you know, actually most people don't know this, but it happened because Bitcoin was updated to do this to make it more interesting. I don't know if you knew that, Sean.
No, I'm looking right at it right here on the white paper as well. That's what I'm reading along. It's something different, but
right now this is Bitcoin. So I'm pretty much just saying, like, Bitcoin, it never did this. They actually upgraded Bitcoin to be able to, you know, reduce its supply over time. It actually wasn't something that existed. It would go slower, but yeah. All right, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, November 2012, the Bitcoin mining reward reduced to 25 Bitcoin instead of 50. 5.25 million were mined within this cycle, making the total number of Bitcoin mined 15.75 million, and 75% of all the Bitcoin mined up until then. By having 2, rewards dropped to 12.5. By having 3, 6.25. We have halving number 4 expected in 2024, where they'll drop to 3.125. And Bitcoin essentially halves 32 times, right? At this very moment, 93.75% of all the Bitcoin has been mined, over 20 million as of today's date. And we're probably closer to this 96.875% than ever, maybe halfway there. Considering that right now, you know, Bitcoin's still doing its thing, right? It has like around almost 13, 12 years, or what is it? We're in 2022. Yeah, like 12, 13 years strong. So really good stuff there. Now, Pulse Bitcoin, this is where the difference kind of kicks in, right? Over here, we have mining rewards, Bitcoin mined. Here, we have a couple different rows. We have some extra rows, and they all say different things. So this is where I want you guys to really pay attention, because this is kind of going to give you an idea how Pulse Bitcoin works. So from launch, right, October 2022, the mining fee rate, right, with this ASIC token that we're going to be talking about a little bit later is 0.25%. So there's a mining fee rate, meaning that this is what it will cost you in ASIC tokens to mine Pulse Bitcoin. There is a fee associated with it. So if you put in one token in, you're going to get back at the end of the mining cycle, you know, pretty much 99.75% of what you put in. You're going to have a fee of 0.25%. The mining reward rate is 7.5, and then every halving, it cuts in half, respectively. In the first cycle, there will be 10.5 million Bitcoin mined, same exact numbers, more or less, as the original Bitcoin. And you know, by the end of this first halving, by the time we get to the first halving, we should have around 50% of all the Pulse Bitcoin mined. So this is a hyperinflation, right? This is a hyperinflation, kind of what happened with Bitcoin. You know that when there is low liquidity, when there is a significant amount of inflation, and you have a lot of demand, it actually is a really good thing for price. So there is something here that Pulse Bitcoin might have going for it, and it's the fact that it's setting itself up in a way where Bitcoin did in the very beginning. I think with maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more attention, Bitcoin had Silk Road. I don't know if you knew what Silk Road was, Sean.
No, I don't.
Nah, Silk Road was like this whole underground like marketplace where people use Bitcoin to like sell.
I mean, is it like the
stuff.
movie?
Yeah,
I believe
exactly.
so. I
Like
believe
Bitcoin was like a
so.
heavy mover and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
and
That's
that's why
right.
Bitcoin also gained a lot of popularity. So yeah, like that's a whole lot of stuff. But essentially, that same idea is happening here with Pulse Bitcoin. Now, is Pulse Bitcoin as popular as Bitcoin was back in the day? That's arguable, right? That's really arguable. But could it have that demand considering that it has the same setup here going on with the whole stuff? The only difference being this whole mining aspect of it. We'll see. But everything else other than that is pretty much the same. There will be 32 halvings with Pulse Bitcoin, eventually one day reaching that 21 million Bitcoin mined, right? So let's go ahead and just jump straight into this thing, right? For Pulse Bitcoin mining, you only need ASIC tokens and time, all right? The lockup of one ASIC token for 30-day intervals is what you need to start mining. So this is like a quick chart that was on the white paper showing you what you need to do to mine. Pretty much what it is you grab your ASIC tokens, right? There's going to be a few ways to get these tokens. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes. But you have your user wallet with the ASIC tokens. You deposit into the smart contract, right? Your ASIC tokens. You lock it for 30 days. And after those 30 days, it unlocks. And then you have a 30-day unlock period where you have pretty much in total between the start to end or the potential end, 30 to 60 days to take out your ASIC tokens. When you execute that end stake or that end mine or the end mining function, what happens is you withdraw then your ASIC tokens, your Pulse Bitcoin that was mined, and so you mint your Pulse Bitcoin, and then of course your mining fee gets burned. So that actually effectively reduces ASIC supply. So this is what we have. That's the mechanism that's making ASIC token essentially deflationary, right, per se. So ASIC token will be deflationary. The more that people the more that people mine, the faster rate that ASIC will burn. Better said, but at a 0.25%. So over here, right, deposit PLSB into the smart contract. ASIC token is locked for 30 days and then can be unlocked on minting day. There is a mining fee associated with the unlock, meaning that you get less than one ASIC you put you get less than the one ASIC you put in to mine the PLSB. This effectively reduces ASIC token supply and has a cost associated with the mining process. Here's some key points. Pulse Bitcoin offers swaps, right, from token to fiat and token and yield earning without the middleman. So that's something that Pulse Bitcoin does have going for it, right? You're going to be able to essentially swap on decentralized exchanges, and that's something you actually can't do with Bitcoin right now. You can't go from Bitcoin to USDC. We'll talk a little bit about that in a couple seconds. And it offers smart contract compatibility since it exists on the Ethereum and Pulse networks, and this gives future potential use cases using the Ethereum virtual machine. Now, the EVM machine is what Pulse Chain is also going to be running on, and so both Pulse Bitcoin on both sides are going to benefit from this. This means that it's just there can be something that can be added to this whole Pulse Bitcoin narrative, right? There can be another token that adds to the idea of what Pulse Bitcoin can do. This gives room for growth, I guess you would say, for Pulse Bitcoin here, just existing on Ethereum, as opposed to how Bitcoin works, where nothing can really interact with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin, right? You can't really upgrade it. You can't make it better. They're trying to do the whole Bitcoin Lightning thing. Is it working? Is it failing? We don't really know, but that's kind of where it's at. And then last but not least, this is one of the final points. Like how I was saying, right? It can be used on decentralized exchanges, so it's trust trading enabled, something not only possible with normal Bitcoin without tons of risk. So essentially, you'll be able to swap your Pulse Bitcoin for Ethereum, USDC, USDT, DAI. You can't do that with Bitcoin right now. All right, you technically can't do it, at least not safely anyway. And then more secure than Bitcoin, quote unquote. That's what it says in the white paper. Less vulnerable to 51% attacks, less vulnerable to inflation bugs. Now, this isn't me talking. This is what it says in the white paper. So I'm just reiterating it. I want to make that clear. I'm not making these claims. That's just what it says in the white paper. Any questions so far, bro? Any questions? Pretty simple, right? Can you hear me, G? All right. Well, I'm just gonna keep going. Anyway, so over here we have the software compartmentalization. This is kind of like a visualization of what the smart contract kind of looks like. Honestly, though, what this is trying to say is that the smart contract exists in a way where it's built, layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer. The application is where the accounts, the smart contracts, and the Ethereum virtual machine operate on. The data layer is where the transactions, blockchains, and the events happen. You have the consensus layer, in other words, proof of work, proof of stake, the incentives that go into it. And then you have the network layer, which is the node discovery, data propagation, and data verification, which is like pretty much the actual network itself. Then, of course, you have the environment, which is the front end. The front end is over here. So if you click on mine, you're going to be able to see the front end. Well, we don't want to do that. Just close this out. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is the whole mining kind of like setup over here. We'll be able to connect using this front end. So this is what it means by environment layer. Right here, environment, user interface, database, cryptography, internet infrastructure. And that's it. That's pretty much that. Yo, can you hear me, Sean? Or no?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yep.
All right, for sure. All right. No, because I was asking you, I was like, do you have any questions so far? Are you
No,
good?
it's no. I thought you were asking like just people in general.
No, I was like, all right, cool. I was asking you a question. I thought I was asking if you had any questions or anything so far.
No, we're cool.
But yeah, I was like, we got Hina on the call. What's up, Hina? How you doing?
Hey,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy you're joining us tonight. All right, cool. So far, this is just like a pretty much a simple breakdown of Pulse Bitcoin. I mean, everything seems to make sense in comparison to Bitcoin. It's pretty much the exact same thing. I think if you understand Bitcoin, in a way, you understand PLSB. This is just this is where the tweaks come in. All right. So what I'm about to explain right now is the whole mining system, how it works through this ASIC token. And first thing I'm going to do is describe how to acquire it. So there's 3 ways you can do it. I think I should actually update this. We'll do that as 3, and both of these are time limited events. So we'll just duplicate that here and then put this over here. So the first way to get ASIC tokens is by buying it on a DEX. That's the simplest way to get it, right? The second way is through something called ATMs. We'll explain what an ATM is in a few minutes. It is actually an NFT. So there's like you know how Hedron has Ecosa has like NFTs, right?
yeah,
Like Ecosa NFTs.
yes, sir.
Kind of similar here, kind of a similar play here going on here with the ATM's NFT. We'll elaborate on that in a few minutes. The third way to get it is by swapping your PLSD for ASIC tokens. And then with the ASIC tokens, you could essentially get PLSB. So if you wanted to, you can go about getting ASIC tokens with simply having those PLSDs for free. Something I do want to highlight, though, is the fact that if we go to the transform section and whatever, let me just lock in real quick here. I'm just going to do this real fast. Hold up. Let me go ahead and refresh. All right. Oh, okay. There we go. I don't know why this is taking me so long.
How much are you gonna acquire of this?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna tell you after we cover this stuff real quick. Yeah.
I mean, I do
it's a
like the buy and burn. I do like how it burns off. You know, making it a lot more rare and within time. You know, I like that you could be able to swap it on all these other dexes compared to
It's
like Bitcoin where
interesting.
you can't.
It definitely has an interesting game theory. Like we're about to cover that right now. Like check this out, right? So right now, 41% of all Pulse Dogecoin has been burned to get ASIC tokens. 41%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
over 12 million ASIC tokens minted. Yeah, global ASIC from transfer. Yeah, so that's over 12 million because 2.511 PLSD has been burned to get ASIC. And pretty much for every 1 PLSD you have, you get 5 ASIC tokens. So that's how that works. And ASIC is already trading right now. We'll go over that in a bit. But yeah, according to the white paper, when you transform your PLSD for ASIC, you get 5, right? 1 PLSD equals 5 ASIC.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now here it says I put this kind of just like to kind of get an idea, but based on the maximum supply of Pulse Dogecoin, if each Pulse Dogecoin was to be turned into ASIC, I mean, there would be no more Pulse Dogecoin in existence at that point. So I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be like around 30 million ASIC tokens. Now, you would add the 30 million plus all the ASIC tokens that were to be minted by the ATM NFTs. This also has a multiplier. So this is something to keep in mind that we're going to go over in a few minutes. There could be a whole bunch of ASIC tokens. Over time, there's actually going to be more and more ASIC tokens, which is really where this game theory kind of gets thrown off a little bit. But I do want to, talk about the whole ASIC thing very clearly, though. I mean, it's pretty simple. If you have PLSD, go transform your PLSD for ASICs. You get 5 for each one PLSD you have. The second way you can get PLSD is through the ASIC Token Miner. That's what ATM stands for. ASIC Token Miner. Now, this is an NFT representation of an ASIC token. This is an optional process for creating an NFT from the Pulse PLSB contract, right? From the Pulse Bitcoin contract. It'll only be available for the first 30 days of launch. So this is actually like a time limited event, how we were referring to. Same thing with the Pulse Dogecoin. You'll only be able to do that for a limited time. It can be redeemed at any point after the launch period for ASIC tokens. So each NFT can only be redeemed once, and the redemption value is determined by the current halving. Okay. So example, $1 equals 1 point, right? So if you were to create an NFT using USDC, Hedron, Hex, USDT, DAI, Warped ETH, those are the tokens that you can put into this not transformer, but use it to create a token miner, right? If you were to give it these tokens, you would get $1 per point. So the longer you wait to redeem the tokens, the more ASIC tokens you will receive at the end when you redeem it, right? So if you purchase an ATM and you hold it till after a halving period, then redeem it, you will receive more ASIC tokens versus having redeemed it during an earlier halving period. So before I jump into that, just to make this very clear, right now, one ASIC token equals 1 point. And I highlight that because that's something I'm going to come back to in a couple of minutes. The fact that $1 equals 1 point with these tokens, but that's only for the first 30 days. But whoever has them, that's the price. Like $1 equals 1 point. That gets you one token. So technically, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, one token is $1, right?
Yes. Yes.
But the reality is ASIC token right now is trading at $1.76. Just
Oh wow.
right?
I mean,
So
yeah.
there's some things happening here, right? There is some
Yes,
stuff
that's
going
something's
on here.
happening right now.
Yeah, but people who can decide to get this NFT, right, are pretty much eligible for one for however many tokens, and they only paid $1 for them technically because they're getting $1 per token, and they can probably sell them for $1.76. I see the
Exactly.
arbitrage opportunity here. There is arbitrage opportunity here, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's why the price is dumping like this every so often because people are taking advantage of this arbitrage. And my whole thing is, I honestly believe that ASIC token could probably go to $1, if not below. I think that's where it'll be cheap and a really, really, really enticing price to get some ASIC. If it ever drops below $1, can it happen? Maybe not. Who knows? But if it does, that's a really good opportunity. Anyways, this whole ATM thing, what happens is right, $1 equals 1 point, 1 point equals one ASIC token. This is the whole math for redeeming these NFTs. So the halving is represented by the letter N. 1 point equals N plus 1 ASIC tokens. So if we have over here, right, from launch to before the first halving, there is a 1x multiplier. Okay, so 1 times 1 is 1, right? ASIC. Now, the halving, when you reach halving 1, the multiplier goes up. So 1 point times 2 equals 2 ASIC. So now at this point, if you were to hold on to that NFT over time, you would actually have more ASIC if you waited until after the first halving. So the halvings occur faster than they occur in Bitcoin. The halvings occur like every 4 years with Bitcoin. With Pulse Bitcoin, they occur like
Six to
it's
12.
supposed to occur 6 to 12. Exactly. You're listening. I like it. Right. So every 6 to 12 months. Now, every 6 to 12 months, if this thing does happen, there could be some good opportunity with this halving stuff, considering that you're going to get a pretty decent multiplier, right? Because every single halving, it goes up by 1x. So ultimately, if you wait till the last halving, that would be like a full 33x, or 1 point equals 33 ASIC. Who would wait that long? I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's going to be someone that does it. And my point here is, um, is that yeah, pretty much getting this NFT and like holding it the same way that like holding that Ecosa NFT kind of gives you more Ecosa as long as you hold it. Same idea here. You get more ASIC tokens by simply holding this NFT, and you can only get them within the first 30 days. So if you're like interested in getting ASIC tokens, this would pretty much be like a decent opportunity to multiply as many, and kind of like a delayed gratification effect where if you wait, you get more, right? What can that do? Now let's talk about what that can do for ASIC price. If you have a bunch of people who are pretty much holding on to these potential ASIC tokens, right? Those are ASICs that can't be dumped into the market, right? So that's actually reducing a lot of sell pressure in the market for this delayed gratification effect. But the second that these people redeem them, they can dump them straight into the market, and they can sell them at whatever rate they want. So it's not like you're safe from it completely, but the reality is that there's going to be a lot of supply that won't be touching the market. Meaning, maybe in the future, all these ASIC tokens that hit the supply might reduce the price. It might affect price. There can be some weird stuff going on with this ASIC token, because ultimately, the only ones that are going to be in existence are the ones that people swapped for PLSD for, right? And the ones that people redeemed this for. That's the only way you're going to be able to buy it. If someone puts up liquidity for it on the
That's I was going to ask you a question about that as well.
Let's
Like,
talk
as you
about
know, is this something that you're also going to be available on Pulse Chain Network with the copy, and could it be wrapped and provided as liquidity on Pulse Chain
so
or on another network?
There's going to be a Pulse Chain version of it. So I don't think someone's going to make like a wrap version of it, but there's going to be its own version under the same smart contract address. So it's going to exist on there anyways. And everything is going to get copied over on the date of that snapshot. So whatever someone's holding in a liquidity pool, or actually probably not, you probably have to have it in your own personal wallet. Whatever anybody's holding in their own personal wallets, that's what's going to be transferred over. Probably the liquidity stuff, the liquidity pool stuff too, if I'm not mistaken. That probably sounds like it makes sense. If you have some money sitting in a liquidity pool, it should transfer over based on that snapshot date, because it is associated with your wallet. Not to get off on a tangent here, but yeah, you're gonna get a copy of Pulse Bitcoin, so that should be fine. For the most part, though, with this whole ASIC token thing, that's going to be copied over too. Now, who knows how it's going to perform on each thing, but my whole thing, bro, is the fact that yes, you're going to be able to get it on Uniswap, right? Whatever's available in the market. A lot of these ASIC tokens aren't going to come out till people actually redeem these ASIC tokens from these NFTs. And the reality also is how many people are going to have these NFTs, and how popular is Pulse Bitcoin going to be in the future? That's a big point. Because if Pulse Bitcoin doesn't get that popular within the first 30 days, which it already kind of is, after the first 30 days, even if people wanted to, nobody would have this opportunity with the ASIC tokens. So that's some stuff to keep in mind. This is all game theory. This is all tokenomics. A way to get a lot of ASIC tokens is through this NFT. The more people that have this NFTs, the more ASIC tokens that can be out in the future. So if an X amount of NFTs are created, that means only an X amount of ASICs are going to exist. Now, all the rest of the ASICs are coming from Pulse Dogecoin, and then those Pulse Dogecoin ASICs and the ones that are being minted from this, they're going to be burned from this burning mechanism. Every time someone stakes and unstakes in those 30-day periods, 0.25% of whatever they put in comes out. So if they put $1 million in, they're going to take out like 25,000, I think, from supply, right? Or no, yeah, 25,000 or 2,500, one of the two. I think it's 2,500. But yeah, there's gonna be some amount reduced. All right, so there is a burning mechanism here. We just kind of have to see how that plays a role in the future. Now let's talk about the mining details here. So mining is the process of locking one or more ASIC tokens. So one token equals one miner. When the at least, right, at minimum. So we'll put here minimum. So minimum one token equals one miner. When the mining function is submitted, right, when you submit the mining function, the mining tokens are locked for a 30-day period. A user cannot withdraw their ASIC tokens or mint rewards until at least 30 days. The user then has another 30 days to end the miner by performing the end mining function. This function closes out the miner, mints the ASIC tokens minus the fee paid in ASIC, and the mining rewards PLSB, right? So now here are the penalties. Excuse me. This is where you can get penalized. There is a penalty function that works here. So if a user fails to end the miner after the 30-day window by day 61, the Pulse Bitcoin is forfeited, right? So it burns the Pulse Bitcoin. Nobody gets the Pulse Bitcoin. It doesn't get it sent into circulation. And penalty of 1/2 of the ASIC tokens used to mine is assessed. So there's half of the ASIC tokens that were used to mine to create that miner is going to be assessed, and it's going to be given to someone. And so listen to this. After the miner has expired, anyone in the world can run the good accounting function. This function will end the specified mining operation. So someone, let's say for example, bro, Sean, you mine, let's say you're mining Bitcoin, Pulse Bitcoin, right, with your ASIC tokens. You forget for whatever reason to mine, to end mine, or to perform the end mining function, right? By day 61, that is going to go up to where anybody in the world can perform the good accounting function on it. If, let's say I decide to run the good accounting function on your stake that ran into 61 days, I get half of your ASIC token.
Oh, wow.
And
so everybody's going to be waiting.
Listen to this. And the Pulse Bitcoin that you mined gets burned. So nobody gets it. I get half your tokens. You lose half. And then and then nobody gets the Pulse Bitcoin. What do you think of that?
I mean, you really know how many people are going to be losing out. I like the fact that I could put like a little alarm, make sure as a reminder, make sure to end my stake. But they give you enough amount of time though. Like, who would really be that careless?
I think 30
that's
days
a lot
is
of
a long
time.
time. You'd be surprised what happens in 30 days. People forget, bro. People forget. Some people just don't do it. So I'm kind of laughing at this part right here because
but there's going to be like a notification, like an icon or something where you can see you can end someone else's.
Probably, yeah. Who knows? There's gonna be some type of thing built into this thing where you're gonna be able to see like whoever runs that thing first, whoever runs that function first gets those ASIC tokens. The only issue I probably see with this is if someone front runs those transactions, and you're able to, they're able to pretty much manipulate it. Boom, dump ASIC tokens.
Not like the gas fee is going to be the same when you do that when you end someone else's stake and something like that. So, or you think they might be different?
I don't know if you've ever ran the good accounting function on a end stake, but what happens is it doesn't actually do the same calculation as an end stake does. An end stake has to calculate every single day how much you earned every single day, which is why it's so expensive. The good accounting function, all it does is it accounts for those days, but it doesn't mint your it doesn't mint your hex. So technically, it doesn't necessarily run that same function. It just says, "Oh, okay, this person is giving back the T shares," and then
you're right. I've done it. I've done it recently when I told you when I did the little 5-day stakes with the Hex W. So I did do it.
All right, perfect. So you know how it works, right? So that's kind of the idea. I'm pretty sure it won't be that expensive to answer your question. All right, let me just finish this part right here. So it says this is intended to remove ASIC tokens from Pulse Bitcoin. This whole kind of like, this is intended to remove the ASIC tokens from the Pulse Bitcoin smart contract. Excuse me. Reward the caller of the good accounting function with half of the ASIC token. Excuse me. Oh, man, my bad. With half of the ASIC tokens used to mint, send the remaining half to the original address that started the mining operation and burn the Pulse Bitcoin rate. So this is like a timeline right here, right? This is what it would look like essentially. So here you deposit and you interact with the smart contract, right? So the mining process begins. You wait those 30 days. Now the withdrawal process begins where you can then withdraw. You have those next 30 days, right? Here's the ending period. If you don't do it within those 30 days, you get the penalty, right? And if someone calls the good accounting function by day 61 and beyond, this is a process that ends a specified expired miner. It's called an expired miner, particularly. So when your miner expires, right, the address that calls this function will receive 50% of the mining ASIC, and the 50% is returned. My question was, is there a fee still associated? So like, is there anything burned from this? The reality is no. It says 50-50. So clearly, I mean, just based on math, doesn't seem like there's any type of fee assessed or anything that's burned other than you get half, I get half. Pretty straightforward transaction. Now, this is pretty much the end of it, and we'll just wrap it up, and then we'll start talking about it and kind of going deeper into it. But here it says, Pulse Bitcoin must be mined into existence. Each mining operation takes 30 days to complete, meaning the first 30 days of launch, there is no Pulse Bitcoin in existence /circulation. The rate of growth for Pulse Bitcoin supply is dependent on the number of ASIC tokens used to mine Pulse Bitcoin until 21 million PLSB are minted. Now, the white paper states Pulse Bitcoin is designed to be a superior digital gold, store of value, peer-to-peer currency, unstoppable money, etc. That's pretty much all the information I was able to kind of like extrapolate from the white paper. And I pretty much, after doing all of this, right, I was literally on my computer just reading it, typing out, reading it, typing out. These are some keynotes that I got, and this is what I want to share with you guys. This is my opinion here, right? These are some questions I have, some things that I'm just thinking. So, and these numbers might be off as well, but this is what I think. So when transforming PLSD to ASIC token, 1 PLSD equals 5 ASIC. Technically, with an ASIC NFT, 1 ATM, right, one or more ASIC tokens equals $1 each. So for the first 30 days, one Pulse Dogecoin, okay, is $8.50. Right now, if you look at the price of Pulse Dogecoin, it's around $8.50. If you do the math, right, 850 divided by 5. So 850 divided by 5, it's around 170, right? It's around 170. And so now I don't know why I wrote this. I do not recommend buying above 170, blah, 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 blah. But that's pretty much why I wrote it, because of the price of ASIC tokens. This is kind of updated. My whole thing with $1 was kind of thrown off. But so 850 divided by 5, right now, the technical real price of a of this based on of an ASIC token based on converting from PLSD to this is $1.70, right? $1.70 per coin. Because what you do is you're just dividing the price of Pulse Dogecoin divided by 5. It gives you 170. If you look at the ASIC price, it's 170, right? Or it tries to be, at least. Every time it gets there, it sells off. Now, right, you are better off selling PLSD, minting an NFT and claiming the tokens, or just buying the NFT outright. Why do I say this? Because the reality is, right, or maybe not selling your PLSD. Yeah, so this isn't right. The reality is you're better off buying from the open, not from the open market, but you're better off buying from the open market beneath $1.70. So if you can get like $1.40, like $1.20, $1, it's better than getting it with your PLSD, because you're essentially getting more ASIC tokens than what you would get if you were to swap the value of your PLSD right now. At the time of me writing all this, the price was $1.66. So the opportunity with ASIC tokens would be if price falls below $1. The reason why I think it's this is because the truth is that here, right, each token is 170. But if you remember what I was saying about the ATM, bro, every dollar is one token. So it technically costs $1 per token. See what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not that difficult. With PLSD, 850 divided by 5, each token is 170. With the NFT, though, $1 equals 1. So 1, just $1. That's what the ASIC token costs. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to figure that out. Like, why is it that is? But anyways, right? That's just here. These are extra notes and extra thoughts, right? So that's that. When Pulse Bitcoin is fully mined, right? This is another point that I have. What with the ASIC tokens will be valuable? Like, what will be valuable for what will the ASIC tokens be valuable for? Right? Will they be able to potentially mine another token in the future? Valid point, right? That's a possibility. And then last but not least, some things to consider with the transparency of Pulse Bitcoin. And this is what this whole thing is about. And this is what I wanted to tell you also, pretty much to wrap this entire overview up. It's a fair launch, so absolutely no special supply allocations, right? No founder gets 2%, no sponsors get 3%, none of that BS. Supply begins at 0 and only becomes available 30 days after launch if participants start mining day 1. 100% transparent, open source smart contract, code security audit done by CertiK, known supply parameters, maximum supply 21 million coins, no unfair distribution. I mean, if you don't consider the people who got Pulse Dogecoin, I mean, some sort of like unfairness, which reality it isn't. All Pulse Bitcoin must be mined fairly, defined by the smart contract. No sacrifice phase or ICO, so you couldn't sacrifice for this token. No private or external funding received. No admin keys, no admin functions, no admin anything. That's really good. We always love to see that. No inflation outside of defined mining rate parameters. No purchase tax, no sell tax, no reflection fees, no referral program, no hidden penalties. And last but not least, bro, no promoters or marketing. Absolutely none. What do you think about that last part?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna get it. I mean, I'm gonna do more
Yeah,
homework on
I'm
it,
gonna
just like
buy it
you
right
said.
now.
But I mean, I like the functionalities on it. I like the features. I like delayed gratification, bro.
Okay.
And I like that it's still part of, the pulse chain. It still has part of Bitcoin. So I mean, plus, I'm gonna always ask you questions on it too. So, but
Absolutely.
the
Yeah,
fact
I
that
get
it
you, bro.
burns off if I buy and hold, and I like to hold and wait, I have patience these days.
Yeah, so I mean, me personally, bro, like my whole thing is like, um, you know, now that we've kind of reviewed everything, it doesn't not make sense. Like it does make sense. It does seem pretty straightforward. It does seem pretty simple. A lot of the stuff with it, I do have some questions about, but the reality is that the ASIC tokens are trading. People, there seems to be demand for them, right? There's around $74,000 in liquidity. It has a market cap of 348K. The ASIC token is supposed to be like the GPUs, right? Like how GPUs are sold out everywhere right now. Like there's a massive demand for GPUs because of mining. All right, so that's what this is supposed to replace. ASIC tokens are supposed to be those GPUs. They're selling for 2-3 times what they're worth because they're that in demand to create tokens with. You just need a GPU. So ASIC tokens are replacing that in this specific example or in this specific project. And the ultimate reality is, Sean, and I'm gonna be very honest, and this goes to everybody watching as well. The way I see crypto, right? I see it as like, this is why I call it crypto venture capital, because the reality is you're looking at something and you're trying to understand how it works fundamentally, right? And how it can perform if you were to throw it into the fire, if you were to throw it into the open market, right? Based on its tokenomics, its game theory, and how everything is supposed to work. In theory, all right, this is what I'm trying to say. In theory, this could work. The reality is that in theory, this could work. But the only thing that matters, my friend, is demand, is people buying, is people pushing the price up. Is this something that people are willing to buy? Because if no one's willing to buy it, I don't care how good it sounds, no one's going to get into it. See what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely. But
no
that
one's
all
going to get
depends
into
on like consumer value, like to see what it really has to offer. Like if the people really have to see the bigger picture. Some people don't really, don't have the time want to break it down. But I mean, the ones already in the community now, I'm sure going to jump all over. That's why you see so much action on it now.
Right. And so this is why I say it, right? Like if you're going to buy it, that's you're taking on the risk. You're assuming the risk of ultimately buying something that either if people don't buy and it doesn't go up, you know, there's no gain from it because
No,
as much as you
exactly.
would want to have it go up, the reality is that demand is what makes it go up. People bought Hex because people were able to learn about it and they liked the way it looked, they liked how it sounded, they bought it, right? I can't say people won't buy this token, bro, but it does sound good. And ultimately, investing in it is a venture. It is an opportunity. It's like angel investing. If you add
Yes.
it to your portfolio, it could become something. There could be fruit that came out of this. But in the same token, there may not be anything that it sprouts from, right? What I do enjoy is the fact that we got it from a free token like Pulse Dogecoin. You were able to convert it to another free token called ASIC. And then from that token, you get another token called Bitcoin. My whole issue with that part, though, is the fact that you're getting a token for another token for another token. You're using one token to mine another token. How feasible is that? How long term is that? How scalable is that? And is it an SEC issue waiting to happen? You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
reality is that you have an asset that is paying you in another asset rewards, quote
and I
unquote.
get what you're saying.
You feel me? So you're not technically mining the same token and being earning reward and earning rewards. You're getting another token for mining that token. That's something you got to keep in
Yeah,
mind
yeah, and that
also.
other token, if it has so much more value, that's when the issue comes into play. Like, hold on.
So there's a very very big question there. Like that's a red flag a little bit. I don't know how much of a red flag it is, but the truth is that you have one token paying you in another token. We've seen that in other places where that just simply doesn't work, right? Can it work here? Is it going to be a violation of something, right? Because the truth is you use a mining rig to mine Bitcoin, but you don't use another token. This whole idea of getting a financial asset and then that financial asset gives you another financial asset, could that become a problem in the future? And so
Now, do you see them coming out with another token similar to this? That's gonna, like slow down the whole mining where you don't need rigs. Like, do you see something
well,
similar coming out like that?
it's called proof of stake. Proof of stake does that. Like proof of stake is what is essentially what runs it. And technically that's the argument here, right? That proof of stake is what's running this entire network. Like you set up a miner, the miner operates on proof of stake. You stake the asset, and that asset provides you with the token that you want, as opposed to being proof of work where it's the miner, having to run physically instead of through code, it runs physically. And that's what produces your token. The only difference is the fact that one is physical, the other one is digital, but it's also an asset. Technically, you can argue that the proof of work products are also an asset. People can sell their farms, their GPUs for millions of dollars, right? And that can turn and that's churning out Bitcoin. But that's not a problem with the SEC. But will this be a problem with the SEC, considering the fact that it's a digital asset, it's monetary value, creating more monetary value? I don't know. Now, I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to throw FUD out there or uncertainty or any of that stuff. Just a question, right? Like, where could that idea go? We have to talk about it. We have to bring it up. But that's also a reality. So considering all these things, right? If you want to back it, you're more than capable of it, right? Let's talk a little bit about Pulse Dogecoin. Let's kind of look at the website. Let's talk about that. I'm sure you guys want to check that out too. Let's just jump straight into it. So this is the website over here. If you guys want to look into it a little bit more, I mean, I'm sure all this is going to make way more sense now. The whole stuff about the halving, faster, scarcer supply, faster halvings, inclusive mining, DeFi compatible, more secure, highly scalable, eco-friendly, right? I think that's the best part about this stuff, that it actually doesn't hurt the environment at all, because you're not going with proof of work mining anymore and having to run this whole thing with electricity. It all works through the internet. Faster transactions, 10 minutes on Bitcoin, 12 seconds on ETH, Pulse chain. Here's the whole math behind it. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm not even going to pretend to know what that means. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, pretty much this is the entire white paper, but in website form, right? And that's what we pretty much reviewed. So if we go to learn more and then we click over here, right? Transform details, or actually, let's just click on mining, because I'm pretty sure mining takes it to the same spot. All right. Here, we're able to see how this whole system is working. So the mining section is where you're going to be able to mine your Pulse Bitcoin. You have a wallet that has ASIC. The ASIC is then going to be able to turned into a miner, right? So then the miner, depending on if you have 1,000 ASIC or 5,000 ASIC, it pretty much depends. That's what makes your miner stronger. The more ASIC, the more ASIC that you have, the stronger your miner per se. It's like having more mining rigs, having a bigger mining rig, and you get more Bitcoin. Same idea. The more ASIC you have, the more Bitcoin you can possibly get. So right now, 8.6%, bro. In the first, what is this? In the first, what are we? 4 days in? Yeah, it's day 4. 900,000 Pulse Bitcoin has officially been mined. 908,000. We're 9% away from, or 91% away from the next halving already, and it's only been 4 days. So here, it's showing you your fee. So your mining reward rate is 7.5%. ASIC mining fee 0.25%. Here's your Pulse Bitcoin payout. Here's your ASIC payout. I wish I had some tokens. It actually doesn't let me do any type of hypotheticals unless I have tokens. But yeah, and then once you have it active, you'll see all your active stakes here, all your miner history down here. Remember, 30-day mining phases. 30 days. That's all you got to do. Lock up your tokens for 30 days. You get tokens for 30 after those 30 days. You can do it again. Transform PLSD. Here you can transform your PLSD for ASIC. Simple enough. And then over here, this is where we have the ASIC Token Miner. So this is where you're going to be able to put in your Hedron, Hex, Warped ETH, USDC, and turn it into an ATM, right? An ASIC Token Miner, which is pretty much just an NFT, pretty much. And this NFT will be worth one ASIC per point, right? So $100 equals 100 points. Eventually, after the first halving, this will turn to 2x, 3x, 4x, all the way up to 33x. That's how you get that. And that's pretty much Pulse Bitcoin. It's pretty simple. You mine ASIC, you get Pulse Bitcoin. The rest is, you just do it.
See,
And then
right
we're
there,
eventually
the end of that, you just help me understand it better.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty
I don't have to
simple.
hit you up later.
Wait, say it again?
I don't have to hit you up later. You help me understand it towards the end
All
right
right,
there.
perfect. That's perfect. It's pretty, honestly, bro. Look, the reason I wanted to go over it with the notes is because it's you want to understand the differences and all this stuff. And also, it's a really good learning opportunity. But it's pretty simple, bro. It's not difficult to understand what this thing is. The question is will it work? And with that, I tell you right again, is this one of those assets that you can that you can put some extra currency behind? Me personally, 100% personally, I'm a big percentages guy. I have well, I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to say that on stream, but my portfolio is extensive with Hex, right? My
I bet
portfolio is
it is.
extensive with Hex. So I like Hex, right? But also consider that removing your wealth from a certain asset that's already performing really, really well can also hinder you as much as it can help you. If this makes more money, if this does a bigger multiplier, a bigger multiple in value over time, of course, there's going to be a winner. But Hex is going to do, I believe, is going to do a better, a really, really good, run up in the next couple of months. I mean, if we look at the price already, it's up 15, 16% for the day, right? Where can that go? And so you're definitely trading off for something that is brand new. So once again, that's why I explain it as venture capital, crypto venture capital. One thing I will say is that this is better than any other token I've probably seen out there on any other chain. This has some of the best token features that you can have. No admin keys, deflationary, all this cool stuff. It is an interesting asset. At the end of the day, though, investing in it is 100% up to you, right? We're going to talk about it more in the Cash Flow Amigos chat. Trust me, we're going to go back and forth. And I want to go back and forth about it here as well. But the truth is it's a very simple value add, right? Mint those Pulse Bitcoin by just staking that ASIC token. And as you can see, around 9% has already been minted for that first phase. So whoever's holding those miners is eventually going to get that 2x. That's going to also increase the supply of ASIC tokens by a whole 2x, all the ones that exist. Imagine there's 1,188 ATMs, but that's 643,000 points. That's $643,000. Also 643,000 ASIC. Okay, 643K just in ATM NFTs within the first 4 days. Could this go up? For sure. I mean, it probably will over the next 30 days. But after that multiplier hits, right? After that multiplier hits from the first halving, this baby right here is going to 2x, and then 3x, and then 4x, and then eventually at some point it's going to 33x. How many people will have ATMs up until that point? I don't know. How many people will there be over time? I don't know either. I mean, we do know right now that within the first 4 days rush, there's over 1,000. I mean, if we just do some simple math, right, we can probably expect anywhere like, maybe 9,000, 10,000 ATMs by the end of this whole thing, maybe more, depending on how excited people get. But we'll follow back on that, and we'll see how this kind of plays out. Ultimately, I do want to answer some questions. If anybody has questions in the chat, feel free to ask. Sean, you got any questions so far?
No, not at the moment. Like I'm still debating. I'll talk to you maybe like when questions do come up about it. But I'm all, like you said, all about Hex. Especially real now, real big on Desi. Really, really big on that. But
Yeah, I don't think like me personally. I mean, I'm a big. I believe in Hex. I know Hex works. Once again, if this thing has no demand, it doesn't matter how many ATMs exist. Doesn't matter how many ASIC miners are in circulation. Doesn't matter anything. It can just be another token that goes to zero. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what happened to all these other
yeah, and
projects
maybe it doesn't go
off
to
of
zero, but like
Bitcoin
if it's
that
not traded,
didn't do anything.
yeah, like if it's not traded, it just won't go up. You feel me? So once again, you're assuming that risk jumping into this asset.
So speculation, if you're willing to speculate and take the risk, exactly.
Yeah,
Not
no, and
financial advice. You have to know that.
Let's talk about this too. Shiny object syndrome. Right now, we're in a bear market. Shiny objects, fun new projects, Bitcoin 2.0, a better version of Bitcoin is trying to get your attention. Are you going to fall for it and invest in it? Right? Or are you going to rise up to it and get access to it? Right? It's all about how you look at it. I mean, you can either fall for it, look,
Yeah, just
get
because I
access.
said I like it doesn't mean, or like you say you like some, doesn't mean I'm gonna
Right.
buy it.
Right, exactly. So like this is what I really want to make very clear to people is the fact that at the end of the day too, right? If you're going to be investing in this stuff, like you're also taking away from investments you can be doing in other places, and we talk about this constantly, right? You know, the shiny object syndrome will take you away from an extra dollar cost average that you could have put into your favorite asset that you're accumulating during this bear market. So you got to consider that heavily. You got to consider that heavily, heavily, heavily. It's like saying, hey, you know what? And not to say that, you know, this is going to have the same fate, but, you know, I bought a bunch of Luna instead of buying a bunch of Hex last year, right? Technically, if you bought Hex, you'd be higher up than if you bought Luna, considering where Luna is. But you were assuming the risk that Luna could have done that and Hex could have done that too, right? When you bought it. So once again, I'm not discouraging you from it, but I'm having you think critically and allocate your funds accordingly. At the end of the day, it's 100% your money, it's your funds, but be responsible with it. You don't want to be irresponsible and be like, oh, I'm going to be the first post Bitcoin whale. But hey, you can be if you want to. You can go ahead and own 5% of total supply if you want. All right, like that's up to you, 100%. Is it wise to do it? Once again, from where I'm coming from, I just know that there are secure things out there, things that make sense, things that have value propositions, things that are extremely innovative. This is innovative in a way where it can either hit or it can miss. And I'll pretty much leave it at that. Yeah, let me see. Let's just go ahead and answer a couple questions here from people in the chat. Let's see. A says, mining is the next step in my study, bro. You're a step ahead again. Shout out to you, bro. Thanks for being on tonight's call, man. I'm pondering Monero though. I'm just from a simple laptop. Yeah, I mean Monero is a privacy token. It's actually probably one of the only privacy tokens. I don't know how successful Monero is going to be. You know, I think privacy is
No,
important.
how long has that
I
been
don't
out?
hold any. Yeah, I don't hold any, but the reality is you know, yeah, Monero. I mean, yeah, it hasn't been the first one in everybody's conversation, you know. And once again, I talk about the fact that people want to have to buy it. Like Bitcoin is where it is because people wanted Bitcoin. Not a lot of people want Monero, and it can be as private as it wants, but sometimes it's just not what makes it go up. A dog coin did like stupid numbers because it was a
But
dog.
with that, all it took was the right person to hype it up.
You get me? Like people, whatever they buy goes up over time. Like what people buy will eventually go up. So if people don't buy it though, is the thing, right? And like that's a very big factor. That's a very, very big factor. Yeah, just something to consider. You know, study it, understand it, look into it. But yeah, you know, keep it in your portfolio. I always tell people if you're gonna build and you're gonna build a portfolio, be very wise with how you're, you know, constructing your stuff. And you know, if you're gonna do this, oh my bad, Sean. If you're gonna do this,
I was like, oh, thought I do.
yeah, if you're gonna do this, right, like, you know, just do it with a very open mind, and yeah, do it with a very open mind, and then just consider what you're investing in. Yeah, Hina says I never heard of Monero. I'm like, yeah, it's for a reason.
That's why he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't
Yeah. I
recommend
mean,
it.
it's not bad. It's out there. You
We're all
feel me? It's
about
very
Hex over
cheap.
here.
I'm not gonna shit on it. Yeah. A says my main reason was it has low hardware requirements. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily correlate to price going up. You know, I think tokenomics and things like that, like scarcity, that matters more. You know, like the T-share system in Hex, bro. There's nothing I've found that's better. Like really nothing. Not even this you know, post Dogecoin. Like I mean, post Bitcoin. Like I can't think of. There's only gonna. Well, first and foremost, you can't really compare the two because this has a, you know, a limited supply versus Hex has an infinite supply. But the scarcity and the way that it kind of manufactures the the future reward is different than how we're doing it with Bitcoin, right? And how we're doing it with other assets. It's very unique. It has a very, very unique property. And Hedron being attached to it and using that same number, using that same calculation system with T-share rate. It's all math. It uses that same system. That's why Hedron is succeeding. You have Ecosa associated to it, also utilizing that same math. It's really the math that's moving it forward. That's what Hex really is. It's really just math, because that's how it makes sense. The math adds up. Um, so as far as hardware requirements, I don't know if it'll maybe make a difference, bro. But yeah, like I said, if people aren't buying it, it's probably not worth holding. All I can say is, buy on the bottoms, sell at the tops. Be smart with your money. If you got money in
Facts.
hand, if you have a bird in hand, take the bird. You know what I mean? Like, you have a bird in, like, when we're on the, because trust me, we're gonna be in a bull market in a few years. I hope so.
Sure.
When you have that bird in hand, bro, take some money, cash out, right? Like, save some bread, buy stuff, buy assets, right? You can hold, of course, keep holding, buy for the future, but don't forget to take profit. Never forget to take profit. A lot of people forget to take profit. So it doesn't matter if you're buying Monero. It doesn't matter if you're buying Post Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what you're buying. If you experience the floor, you went to the top, and then you want to sell at the next lower low or higher low, what'd you do, bro? Nothing. You got to sell at the top. You know what I mean? You got to sell at the top. You gotta cash out a little bit of what you made in that process and enjoy those fruits. And even if you stay with it cash, you can buy the price dip all the way back up again at the bottom, probably with more money than what you bought the first time. So just something to consider. Yeah, if it just goes, I wouldn't buy a Monero, bro. I'll just mine. Can't mine Hex, or I'll be or ILD, or I'd be at it. Yeah, you definitely could mine Hex. You just stake it. That's how you mine Hex. But you need Hex. So you get Hex, you mine Hex. I do. All right, man. But yeah, bro, I think that was a really good video. I'm really happy with it, considering the other one was like 37 minutes. Definitely got some cool interactions, and we're able to go over the best stuff. Yeah, man. I mean, anything you want to share real quick before we kind of step out?
And other than that, like you keep telling them, man, anything you're gonna buy, just keep doing the homework, stay on top of it. Stay on top.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
Anything you
bro. I mean, like
invest
I
in,
said,
stay on
it's
top of it.
interesting. It's interesting, and you know what? This is an asset that you would probably have fun, like, experimenting with, in my opinion. As opposed to experimenting with like Zen and putting like $100 into Zen, I'd put $100 into ASIC. That's, I think, a good comparison. Instead of, oh, but what if it goes somewhere? Fuck if it goes somewhere. Like, I'd rather do this one, right, where there's at least more game theory, at least a better understanding um, of the asset, versus what kind of Zen became. Yeah, I would probably go this route a little bit better. You know, so, but nothing crazy, like just $100, right? Just 100, maybe
That
two.
$100, at least you get a free copy of it too.
Exactly, and $100 of Bitcoin today is worth millions. You get me? So don't sleep, because Post Bitcoin might come through and take everybody's money.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you said, $100. Hey, $100. Okay, but that'd be something that I cash out on instead of having to cash out any Hex.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So I
once
don't
again,
mind sometimes
and
making these plays.
the diversification too matters, bro. Like, because look, if you're somebody new, right? Like, if you're someone new, don't go buying this coin over something that's more secure. Like, I'd buy Hex over this if you're brand new. But if you've been in it in years and you want to think about maybe expanding a little bit and maybe throwing a little aguito right there, right? You want to just throw a little something, exactly. Then you can do it. You can definitely do it. I wouldn't do it if you're brand new and, like, you're gonna go all in on this whole thing because you think it's gonna be the one and post Bitcoin only, and that's the only one you're gonna rep, and that's the only But if you have like some assets already allocated, you got some money moving
I was gonna
around.
say because I'm new, but I feel like my wallet, my portfolio is starting to be, starting to diversify.
Yeah,
Thanks to you, so and plus just being in the community, airdrop city, right?
correct. I agree, bro. I mean, thank you for that compliment as well, bro. But the reality is yeah, you're 100%. We're getting airdrops left and right, and um, we've gotten a lot of free money recently over the past like year or so. So I mean, I can imagine over the next 2 years how that's gonna play out, and what else, what other free stuff we're gonna get. Pero bueno, bro, I know it's
Right?
been
We need an update on that soon.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk airdrops a little bit more. We'll talk about it later on this week. It's only Monday, so we still got a lot to cover. Probably gonna drop a midweek update and share some more info with you guys. But man, I'm happy I got this video out and we are able to share with people. So yeah, man. Yo,
Audio.
Sean, thank you so much for joining the call, bro. I appreciate you, dude. I'm
Problem,
actually
man.
about
It's
to go hit
always a
the gym.
pleasure.
Yeah, I'm about to go crush it at the gym. About to go get my
Yes,
session in.
sir. We
I
get that
didn't get to
workout
go
in.
earlier today, so I definitely got to make it out there now. And yeah, bro, grateful for you, fam. Thank you for being in the group, bro. Thank you
Same
for just
thing.
being
Same thing.
involved.
Likewise.
Yeah, man. Thank you for everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. Please, 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 if you guys want to support the channel, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys leave a comment, show some love to the channel, subscribe to the channel as well. Turn on those post notifications if you want to know when it is that I am going to be going live next. Also, if you want, I'm going to go ahead and put these captions up here as well. Join CFA, right? TME.CFA Alpha. It is a news channel where you will also be able to see any videos I drop, any free content that I provide for you guys. You guys will be able to join that channel and be informed. And if you guys want more information about a mentorship group or a course, something you guys can use to learn cryptocurrency, maybe you're brand new and you're really lost in this thing and you just don't know what you're doing, guys, I encourage you to go to cashflowamigos.com. In there, we will be pretty much helping you guys out understand crypto through courses, mentorship, and just community. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to me through Telegram as well. You can find that on cashflowamigos.com. Sean, if you want to say goodbye real quick.
Nothing. That's about it. Join the community, man. The best $100 you ever spend.
Appreciate you, bro. And you don't want to share your socials, right? This guy's private.
I'll send them to you. You can post them on there,
Yeah, my boy,
Sean Ramirez on Facebook, Sean Ramirez on Instagram.
My boy Sean's a billionaire. You can see him. Look at his
Not yet. But we know where
he's in his attic right now.
Man,
Not in his attic, in the what is it? In the basement. He has a basement. If he has a basement, bro, he got bread, or he just lives up north. One of the two.
Nah, not at all. This is all me. That's why it's nice and quiet.
Facts. I love you, bro. Appreciate you, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Sorry.